Good evening and welcome. My name is Captain Chad Cave, and it's an honor to be the Master of Ceremonies for tonight's event. Would everyone please stand for the presentation of colors by the Frederick County Fire Rescue Honor Guard and the Fire Brigade Pipes and Drums of Greater Baltimore, and remain standing for the national anthem, which will be sung by the members of the Frederick Chamber Singers, a select group of students from the Frederick Children's Chorus. It is my pleasure to introduce the Reverend Kevin Farmer of St. John's Evangelist Roman Catholic Church of Frederick, who will lead the invocation.
I was just getting ready to say, and he stole my thunder, I don't know who this little guy is and who he's related to, but he's going to be a musician. There's no question about that. Dear brothers and sisters and family and friends, and I say brothers and sisters because I had the privilege of serving as a chaplain, a fire department chaplain, for the Baltimore City Fire Department for over 15 years and the Frederick City Police Department here for many years. And so the phrase brother or sister in blue, or in this case black, runs deep in my veins. And so I am privileged to represent the clergy and the faith leaders of all of Frederick County and Frederick City tonight as we ask for God's blessings upon our gathering and our soon-to-be graduates. And so we pray. Good and loving God, we prepare this night to bring conclusion to academy training, and for these soon-to-be graduates to begin what we hope will be a lifetime of service. Those who are graduating tonight are accepting the invitation to so much more than a career. We give you thanks, Almighty God, for these men and women who prepare to answer the call to serve. We pray for those who have trained them, for those who will serve alongside them. We remember those who have come before them and those who will follow after. Tonight, they commence, after careful training, their desire and willingness to place the needs of the citizens of Frederick front and center, before their very own. They answer a call that will ask everything of them. We pray not only for them, but for their families and those that they love, who will also make sacrifices for the fulfillment of their call. We are reminded the words of the gospel evangelist John. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you, for there is no greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. We ask you, Almighty God, to bless our friends as they begin this act of love, laying down their lives for the people of Frederick County as they are commissioned this night. Keep them safe as they prepare to say yes to your command of love and caring for those most in need. And we ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. In the event of emergency, I would like to take a moment to point out the exits located in the immediate rear of the auditorium and to my left. Also, Frederick County's IIT video services will be filming tonight's ceremony, and they will broadcast that on Channel 19 in Frederick County, and you can also find it online for future viewing. Please allow me to introduce our guests, as well as thank them for their attendance at the various levels of support that they have given our organization. With us on stage is the Honorable Bud Otis, Frederick County Council President at Large. The Honorable Sandra Dalton, Clerk of the Circuit Court for Frederick County. Chief Thomas Owens, Chief of Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. Deputy Chief Kevin Fox, the Deputy Chief of Volunteer Fire Rescue Services, Frederick County. Deputy Chief Tom Coe of the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. Deputy Chief Steve Leatherman, Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services. And Fire Chief Steve Lohr, Hagerstown City Fire Department. Mr. Stephen Jones, President of the Career Firefighters Association of Frederick County, IAF Local 3666. And me, the Vice President of the Fire Rescue Advisory Board. Joining us in the audience is Alan Hurley. He is the first vice president of the Volunteer Fire Rescue Association and also the chief of Rocky Ridge Volunteer Fire Company. Colonel Scott Halter, Commander, U.S. Army Garrison, Fort Detrick. Mr. Gunnar Peterson, Fire Rescue Advisory Board and Deputy Commander of the U.S. Army Garrison, Fort Detrick. Chief Randy Williams, Walkersville Volunteer Fire Company. And Chief Pat McTighe Sr., Braddock Heights Volunteer Fire Department. A special thanks goes to the Frederick County Division of Fire Rescue Services Honor Guard, the Loudoun County Fire and Rescue Service, the Fire Brigade Pipes and Drums of Greater Baltimore, as well as other agencies that are listed within the ceremony program. Though unable to attend tonight's ceremony, the Honorable Jan Gardner, Frederick County Executive, has taken time to record some remarks for this event. We would like to play that video for you now.
Good evening. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner. Congratulations to Recruit Class 23. While I'm not able to celebrate with you in person this evening due to the baptism of my own grandson, I wanted to welcome you to the Frederick County family. Today, you officially become a Frederick County firefighter EMT. Tonight's graduation has been a long time in the making. When you first reported for duty on October 2nd, you didn't know most of the men and women who would be training with you for the next 6 months. Air Force, Marine, and Army veterans trained side by side with a banker and a deputy coroner, an interesting group. You spent 28 weeks creating shared experiences, and you learned that where there is unity, there is victory. Your training has been intense. Without a doubt, the career you have chosen is physically and mentally draining. I've tried on the heavy turnout gear and the clunky boots and tried to drag a charge hose line, and I can tell you it is not easy, and I could certainly not do it well. Before you officially begin your new assignment in the field tomorrow, I wanted to take a moment to remind you of something I said when we last spoke in December. With the hundreds of hours of technical training, it's sometimes easy to forget the human side of this job, the caring side, which is most important. Each one of you who wear the uniform provides a critical service to the citizens of Frederick County. You're protecting property and saving lives. One of the fundamental responsibilities of local government is to ensure the safety of its citizens. It comes down to something simple: taking care of people. That focus on people is a top priority for me. You are in a career that is among the most trusted of public servants. You will make a difference in the lives of the people you come in contact with. The people you touch will never forget how you treated them. They will never forget how you made them feel when they were in crisis, having one of their worst days. They will value your professionalism, your care, and the service you provided to them. You have become part of a team that functions very well in intense fire and rescue situations. As part of that firehouse team, you will get together to support each other and become part of a special fire department family. You'll spend a lot of time together. You'll depend on each other, and you'll enjoy meals with your shift mates. You'll learn something new every day, which keeps the job interesting. As a rookie, you'll continue to learn vital information. If you need to ask others for assistance, do so. That is what the team is there for. If you have questions, ask them. If you're overwhelmed at times, your shift mates are there to help. Thank you for choosing to serve the citizens of Frederick County and for choosing a career to help other people. In closing, I want to thank your families for their support over the past several months and for their continued support into the future. I want to thank the instructors and class coordinators, especially Captain Lenny Stolberg and Class Commander Lieutenant Sean Donovan. Special thanks also to Chief Tom Owens for the work you and your command staff do to ensure the safety of the dedicated men and women who put their lives on the line every day in service to this community. I am grateful that you choose to work for Frederick County. Congratulations to all the graduates of Recruit Class 23. Remember, where there is unity, there is victory.
And now a word from the Honorable Bud Otis, President of the Frederick County Council.
It's an honor to be here tonight. When I sat in the chair after the 2014 election, one of the things I discovered was that we were short a lot of fire personnel in our county. That troubled me a lot. And when the SAFER grant became known and Chief Owens applied, and we were able to hire an additional 44 firefighters, that was great news for me. Our responsibility as a council is to provide funding for the various agencies that come before the council for funding. The county executive puts a budget forward, then we have to approve or deny. There are some easy votes on the council, and one is for the firefighters and the safety of our deputy sheriffs. Those are major responsibilities that the county government has to our citizens. And I want every citizen in this county to rest easy at night, knowing that we have outstanding firefighters and police available to our citizens at all times. You know, at Winchester Hall, we have a drill once in a while on fire prevention. We have locations where to leave the building and head towards. Your job as recruits now, graduating, is not to run with us out of the building, but to run towards it. That's a tough responsibility. And I want you to know that we really respect your decision to be a firefighter in this county. We are honored to have you. We look forward to you being a part of the family now on a full-time basis. And I wouldn't be surprised Chief Owens comes to us and asks for a few more firefighters, and he will get the same response from me, and that's a yes, because I want to fully fund and provide the firefighters we need in this county. And a lot of our young people are going into other fields, and we need to be recruiting recruits all the time for our fire department. So rest assured, you have a vote on the county council, someone that really appreciates what you're doing, and I understand. You run towards the building when I'm running away from it. And God's blessing on you, and we are so proud of you, and I know you'll do a great job because you've had some great training by a great team up here to have put their heart and soul and develop you into what you're going to be. So family, tonight's a night of rejoicing. Be excited about this. It's a great opportunity for young people not to think of themselves, but think of service to their fellow mankind, and that's the greatest honor you can have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Otis. And now I'd like to invite Chief Owens to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Chad. Good evening, everyone. It certainly is a great pleasure for me to introduce to you tonight Chief Steve Lohr, who presently serves as the Chief of the Hagerstown, Maryland Fire Department in Washington County, Maryland. In Hagerstown, Chief Lohr leads a staff of 77 career employees, including a full-time fire marshal staff, and embodies 6 volunteer corporations within the city fire department as well. Together, they serve a city of approximately 40,000 residents, and since his appointment, he has been instrumental in developing standard operating guides that reflect the current fire rescue environment, developing a standard incident command framework for the city, and improving fire rescue infrastructure in and around the city of Hagerstown. Prior to his appointment in Hagerstown, Steve served with the Montgomery County Fire Rescue Service for over 30 years. And during his career in Montgomery County, Chief Lohr rose through every rank in the department and retired as Chief of Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Services. In Montgomery County, Chief Lohr led an organization of over 1,300 employees with a $220 million budget that also included a variety of capital projects that he managed successfully during the course of his career. In that capacity as Chief of Montgomery County, Chief Lohr was also actively engaged in the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments Fire Chiefs Committee and the Regional Fire Intelligence Group. Chief Lohr is a graduate of the University of Maryland Fire Protection Engineering Program. He has also completed the Executive Fire Officer Program at the National Fire Academy and the Executive Leaders Program at the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California. In addition, he holds 2 associate's degrees and several leadership program certificates. Chief Lohr is a life member of the National Fire Protection Association, an active member of the International Association of Fire Chiefs, and the Society of Fire Protection Engineers. Most recently, he has been actively involved with the National Fire Protection Association's Research Foundation, doing active studies on the new phenomenon of tall wood buildings that are appearing in our communities. And he is engaged in phase 2 research and testing, as well as ventilation, flow, path, full-scale testing, as well as studies on compressed air foam systems for fire suppression evaluation with Cal Poly and the NFPA Research Foundation. It is a great pleasure to welcome not only a professional colleague, but a friend, Chief Steve Lohr.
Thank you, Chief, for that glowing introduction. I promise you my remarks won't have anything to do with any of that technical blah, blah that we went through. I'd first like to thank really everyone here, especially the grads of Recruit Class 23. I hope my message rings true. I've been doing this at one place or another, starting as a young volunteer, Washington County, Maryland, for now 47 years. So my remarks tonight, I think, are going to reflect on a adult's view of looking backwards on those many experiences. Certainly, Chief Owens, his entire staff, for having me here tonight. I couldn't be more honored. I spent half of my life, actually more than half of my life, commuting through Frederick County and have watched the phenomenal growth here, and it just pleasures me to see the county government keep a pace with public safety here like you are. Generally, if I were doing this ceremony in Montgomery County, I would ask the recruit class to stand, face the audience, particularly their friends, family, colleagues, and just acknowledge that they helped get you here this evening. So I'll let that up to Chief Owens and his staff. Today clearly belongs to the graduates of Frederick County Recruit Class 23. As all of you join each other to celebrate your graduation from now what is the 7th month of recruit training. Let me be among many today who will extend a heartfelt congratulations for a hard-earned and well-deserved accomplishment. For some of you, this may be the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. For others, a newfound career path, and for each of you, and as long as you work here, a future responsibility that will bind each of you together forever. An integral part of a team of trained professionals sworn to serve the public. You have chosen a great place to serve. Frederick County has a long and proud history of commitment to public safety, as we heard from Council President Otis. I would like to acknowledge this fact and extend a special thank you to all of the citizens and elected officials who continually place a high value on public safety, as evidenced by this ceremony this evening. You have chosen to become a sworn public servant. Beyond this ceremony tonight, let me express in practical terms what I believe that should mean to each of you. When you raise your hand and swear to protect others, you are essentially writing a blank check that can be cashed at any time for a price up to and including your own life. An amount up to and including your own life. When you acknowledge and accept the tremendous responsibility associated with such an overwhelming debt and IOU, I want to assure you that many before you have taken a similar oath. To further explain, I will limit my remarks this evening to the bank account that supports that implied debt. Even though you may not have realized it during the initial stages of your recruitment, selection, hiring, and weeks of recruit training, together you have opened a joint bank account where both you and your employer will make regular deposits. Happily, those deposits have little to do with dollars and cents. Instead, they take on the form of collateral that will remain with you for the rest of your career in Frederick County. Let's talk about a few of the deposits you will have to personally make. Training, education, hard work, dedication, commitment, integrity, competence, and of course, honesty and community trust. We heard it in the video. We are one of the most treasured public safety agencies in America. Why? You're invited guests in people's homes on the worst day of their life. Our counterparts in law enforcement do equally good work, but many times they have to show up with warrants. We are invited guests. Don't ever violate that public trust. To remain successful, your deposits have to always exceed your withdrawals. That's a really easy concept. This can't occur without a commitment from each of you to come to work every day for the rest of your career, prepared to face any challenge that could be thrown at you on a moment's notice. Many tasks will become routine, repetitive, everyday jobs that may bore you to tears, while others will challenge you in ways you may never have been challenged before. You will serve in an all-hazards fire rescue agency where emergencies and crises occur at all hours of the day and night. You have to be the same professional, whether it's your first or 31st run of the shift, whether it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon or 3 a.m. in the morning. I urge each of you to remain vigilant in every aspect of your duties throughout your career that will take on many forms. Firefighting is always dirty work. Frequently, it is dangerous work. And sometimes it is life-threatening work. Also dangerous, yet far more likely, is the dark country road where you are working without adequate traffic control, the reaction of a violent patient who presents as benign, yet may be armed with weapons that can end your life in a second. The exposure to communicable diseases if you're not wearing the personal protective equipment you have been provided. The icy roads and sidewalks that you will be required to work on. The unseen electrical hazard that results from an earlier weather event. The young person who has placed themselves in a portion of the Potomac River where no human beings should be. The overturned hazardous materials tanker, the derailed train, the terrorist, the active shooter, building collapses, and a list that is endless that goes on and on. All these examples point to the need for highly trained, certified, and practiced providers who must never be content with their knowledge base and skill sets. More importantly, you can never become complacent in your approach to your work. We know that complacency leads to really bad outcomes and can impact the most highly trained and practiced personnel. The skilled providers I speak of sit before us tonight. As the county's fire chief, Chief Owens and his staff have been assigned a great mission with awesome responsibilities. I'm absolutely confident that together you will continue to enjoy success as each of you goes to work in the streets of Frederick County. I'm certain that your employer's commitment to each of you is to assure that you operate with all the resources needed to perform your duties safely and to keep pace with the changing environment that challenges all fire rescue providers everywhere. Take great comfort in the fact that you have chosen one of the greatest callings of mankind, to serve others in need regardless of their standing in life or the circumstances that have driven them to request your service. Also take comfort in the fact that you will be rendering those services as an employee of a great fire rescue department. Please don't ever forget the joint bank account and your shared responsibility to ensure your deposits always exceed your withdrawals. Let me finish with the words of Fire Department of New York Chief Edward F. Croker as he spoke to a class of recruits 121 years ago. I think you will agree that even though many things have changed in the last century, Our fundamental mission has not. I apologize in advance to the young ladies for the gender bias that are resident in his words from that time and place. I'll quote directly. I have no ambition in this world but one, and that is to be a fireman. The position may in the eyes of some appear to be a lowly one, but we who know the work which a fireman has to do believe that his is a noble calling. There is an adage that says nothing can be destroyed except by fire. We strive to preserve from destruction the wealth of the world, which is the product of the industry of man, necessary for the comfort of both the rich and the poor. We are the defenders from fire of the art which has beautified the world, the product of the genius of man, and the means of refinement of mankind. But above all, our proudest endeavor is to save the lives of mankind, the work of God himself. Congratulations, Recruit Class 23. Good luck, and please accept my personal congratulations this evening as you walk across the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Lohr. RC-23 began with 22 individuals with varying levels of fire service experience and training. RC-23 consists of personnel from many different walks of life, from a banker to a deputy coroner to veterans coming off of active duty. Some were born and raised within Frederick County, and some from Pennsylvania, while others traveled as far away as Colorado and Ohio. But now, 28 weeks later, there are 22 graduates that no longer work or think as individuals. They have trained together, they have suffered together, and they have grown together as a unit. They have celebrated the birth of fellow classmates' children and mourned the loss of classmates' loved ones. These events, coupled with the rigorous training demands, served as the fire that forged and strengthened the bond amongst RC-23. They are now a single unit in every way and have adhered to their class motto, Ubi Concordia, Ibi Victoria. Translated, where there is unity, there is victory. They have become knowledgeable, well-trained, disciplined firefighters that function as a cohesive unit and are capable of making sound, educated decisions on incidents as well as in their personal lives. They are loyal to the citizens of Frederick County and this division, and they will always place the mission first, their brothers and sisters second, and their own personal needs last. Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue with our ceremonies with some words from RC-23's valedictorian, firefighter TJ Preer.
Good evening. Thank you for coming out tonight in support of my fellow classmates and I as we celebrate our graduation. As a graduate of this class, I've had the unique pleasure of working, learning, struggling, and growing with the other men and women who are graduating here today. It is my honor to be able to speak about our experiences to all of you this evening. Recruit Class 23. 193 days ago, we stepped into the classroom for the first time, wondering what the Academy had in store for us. 193 days ago, we set out on what would end up being, at least for me, one of the most physically demanding, academically strenuous, and mentally exhausting challenges of my life. 193 days ago, I sat for the first time amongst the people who have become my family for the next 6.5 months, the people I now call my brothers and sisters. On this 193rd day, I can say with great relief, we made it. It wasn't easy, though. For the first time, Captain Stolberg and Lieutenant Donovan walked into the classroom, I knew the Academy was going to be much more intense than I ever expected. From Arrowwood introducing himself as Firefighter Arrowwood and being told that he was indeed not a firefighter, but a fire recruit, to Captain Stolberg trying to teach the entire class what it looks like to stand at attention and how to keep our arms in tight, because our lats ain't that big. I went home day one, body aching and mentally exhausted. I had spent the last 8 hours shaking in pure terror at the reality of it all. Laying in bed that night, all I can think about was how the next 6 months were going to take everything I had in me. It would take full dedication and heart to make it to the end. We spent the first couple weeks figuring out the lay of the land, learning about each other so we can keep ourselves in check. Because in the academy, if one fails, we all fail. During this time, the instructors were also scoping the field to find the leaders, to find the ones who were going to keep us out of trouble. Recruits were assigned tasks to lead their squad through, and if at any point they made the smallest mistake, they were relieved of their duty. Forgot a pen? Fired. Lost your name tag? Fired. Forget to sign the logbook? Fired. I'm going to say Warfel took the cake when he forgot his duty boots and had to wear his running shoes with his Class B uniform. I'll never forget when Captain Stolberg walked in the door that morning, looked Warfel up and down, checked out his feet, and said, "Warfel, what the heck are on your feet?" Warfel stood at attention and said, "Athletic shoes, sir." Everyone was given a chance to become a leader in order to find the appointed 3 squad leaders and the guide, except me. Yep, totally missed me, Cap. Look at me now. But in all seriousness, this academy has been extremely stressful, not only on the recruits, but on our families. Our wives, husbands, and partners have spent hours prepping uniforms and getting meals ready for the next day. If it wasn't meals and uniforms, they were putting up with our constant studying and general state of pure exhaustion. Some days would spend 8 hours wearing our turnout gear in our SCBA, only to come home, wash up, prep for the next day, take care of the family, and still read through those 5 or 6 chapters to be ready for the final the next day. I think I can speak for us all when I say we wouldn't have made it without you all. Thank you for your patience, understanding, and help through all of this. We love you and are more grateful than you may know for standing by us over this past half year. During this recruit class, we have had 4 babies brought into this world, 3 to first-time fathers. That means not only did these recruits have to take care of everything on the plates at the academy, they were on midnight feeding duty. They were making sure mama was okay, and they were changing diapers for the first time. And just like in the academy, they were learning to do this, which wasn't a walk in the park. One thing the academy did well was push you to the point of mental exhaustion and physical failure. It isn't fun to fail, but it shows you the person you are really inside. It teaches you to get up, dust yourself up, and try again. Not only for yourself, but for the other 21 people standing beside you. During the academy, I knew I would fail many times over. I also knew that when I did fail, I'd be failing with the rest of my brothers and sisters. We learned through action, trial by fire. We were never given the answers, just the pathways to follow and find them. We were given inspiration from Lieutenant McKay, diligence from Lieutenant Donovan, and grit from Captain Stolberg. We were given tools I know will aid us in becoming successful firefighters here in Frederick County and beyond. In closing, I want to leave the class with a few words of wisdom, since I'm the old one, well, except Porterfield, who's old enough to be everyone's dad. We are finally being released into the real world, where we need to use all the tools we have gained these past 6.5 months. Things aren't always going to go the way we want. In fact, they very rarely will. Remember, in the times that we are struggling, stressed, or unsure, that we are all still family. We are now starting the career that we will have the rest of our professional lives. And like we have heard many times over, this is the best job in the world. So enjoy it, and always try your hardest to be the best person and firefighter you can be. I want to leave you with the quote that my mentor once told me. The trick is what one emphasizes. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. Recruit Class 23, it's been an honor. Thank you.
Recruit Class Valedictorian, please present RC-23's plaque. We will now have the presentation of Recruit Class 23's certificates of graduation. Recruit Training Coordinator, Captain Stolberg, prepare the class for presentation. Chief Owens, Deputy Chief Fox, Deputy Chief Coe, Deputy Chief Leatherman will be presenting the graduation certificates. The dignitaries have formed a receiving line so that they may congratulate the graduates. For those who will be pinning RC-23's badges, please proceed to the left of the auditorium, if you have not done so, where Captain Fisher is. Family and friends are welcome to come to the front to take pictures, but please hold your applause until all of the members of RC-23 have been sworn in. Let us begin. Tyler Arrowwood, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Sadie Bertier, Westminster, Maryland. Michael Calderola, Gaithersburg, Maryland. Rachel Calderon Murphy, Rockville, Maryland. Scott Dibler, Clarksville, Maryland. Scott Effinger, Crescent, Pennsylvania. Roger Fessenden, Poolesville, Maryland. Christopher Franco, Frederick, Maryland. Brandon Hamlin, Portland, Oregon. Matthew Lewis, Mount Airy, Maryland. Lewis McLean, Jr., Sykesville, Maryland. Trevor Meter, Elko, Minnesota. Jeremy Miles, Limerick, Pennsylvania. Kyle Moore, Walkersville, Maryland. Zachary Nixon, Hanover, Pennsylvania. Chad Owens, Manchester, Maryland. Chester Pod III, Annapolis, Maryland. Jason Porterfield, Urbana, Maryland. We'll see you in 15 years, kid. Taylor Preer, Crested Butte, Colorado. You can let that one know. We'll see it in 21 years. Joshua Shank, East Berlin, Pennsylvania. Austin Tipler, York Springs, Pennsylvania. Nathan Werfel, Catonsville, Maryland. To the family of Nathan, I'd like to apologize if I butchered the name, but when we asked the correct pronunciation of that, he was not sure. So we went with Warfel. All right, dignitaries may be seated. Recruit Class 23 will now retire their guidon. If the platoon leader and guidon bearers would come forward to retire the guidon and present it to Battalion Chief of Training Daniel Healy. The guidon is a time-honored tradition since the early days of warfare. They were used to alert the commanding general to the disposition of subordinate units. The guidon is a great source of pride for the unit. Throughout the years, several traditions have developed around it. Should it be dropped or come into contact with the ground, the guidon bearer or unit would be punished in the form of having to do various exercises. It is fiercely guarded in order to prevent other units from taking it. While in training, the recruit class commander may choose to roll up the guidon to hide the identity of the unit due to substandard or embarrassing performance. The guidon is left that way until the unit's performance has improved. Recruit Class Commander Lieutenant Sean Donovan, please have your class report to the stage for the swearing-in ceremony. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Miss Sandra Dalton, Clerk of the Circuit Court of Frederick County, to perform the swearing-in ceremony.
Thank you and good evening. Recruits, I would like to ask you to please raise your right hand. Individually, I'd like you to go down the line, state your name after I say I. I. State your name, sir.
Nathan Warple. Austin Tippler. Joshua Shack. Taylor Greer. Jason Porterfield. Chester Todd III. Chad Owens. Zachary Nixon. Kyle Moore.
Jeremy Miles.
Trevor Meter. Lewis McLean. Matthew Lewis. Brandon Hamlin. Chris Franco. Roger Fessenden.
Scott Effinger.
Scott Geibler.
Rachel Calderon Murphy.
Michael Calderola.
Sadie Bertier.
Tyler Early.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland and support the Constitution and laws thereof, and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of firefighter for Frederick County according to the Constitution and laws of this state, and that I will familiarize myself with and be obedient to the rules and regulations and operational procedures of the Frederick County Department of Fire Rescue Services, and faithfully serve Frederick County in the discharge of my duties as firefighter to the best of my knowledge and ability. If this is your oath, and you make this commitment individually again, please say, I do. Sir?
I do. 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 I do.
I do. I do.
I do. I do. I do. I do. I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Recruit Class 23, you are now officially sworn. You may lower your right hand. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. It's an honor to be with you tonight. In addition to the graduation of Recruit Class 23, We have a few very special employees of the division that we would like to take a moment to recognize. Tonight, we are very excited to provide to certain individuals within our division a unit citation. A unit citation is awarded to a group or unit for honorable, meritorious, and exemplary service, either on the incident scene or during a special project that might be performed for the division. Tonight, we'll be recognizing the Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services Training Academy staff. So if the following personnel could come forward for me as I read the award narrative. Battalion Chief Daniel Healy, Captain Kathleen Harn, Captain Lenny Stolberg, Lieutenant Christopher Demopoulos, Lieutenant Sean Donovan, Lieutenant Robert McKay, Lieutenant Michael Steele, Lieutenant Michael Webb, Fire Medic 3 Adam Miller, Fire Medic 3 Margaret Nawalczyk, Instructor Louis Rader, and Administrative Coordinator Cheryl Riley. If you folks could take a position there in front of the chiefs. In August of 2016, Frederick County was awarded a Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response Grant, frequently referred to as the SAFER Grant, through the Department of Homeland Security. This $6.3 million grant allowed the county to hire an additional 41 firefighters, but came with a strict performance timeline requiring rapid hiring and training of those new firefighters. Due to this timeline, from September of 2016 until April of 2018, the staff assigned to the Division of Fire and Rescue Services Training Office provided superior performance under unprecedented and extremely challenging circumstances. During that same time period, the staff assigned to the training office successfully trained 4 full recruit classes in 18 months. Each recruit class was 27 weeks in length and included over 1,000 hours of instruction and training. It is important to note that for 8 of those 18 months, the training staff was managing multiple overlapping recruit academy classes at the same time. Through those recruit classes, a total of 85 highly trained and motivated firefighter EMTs now serve the citizens of Frederick County. In addition, the training office also conducted a paramedic training course, which was the first held in Frederick County in over 3 years. The 12-month paramedic training course that included 1,500 hours of instruction and training culminated in the successful graduation of 8 new Frederick County paramedics. Simultaneously, the training office staff took on the monumental task of achieving accreditation through the Committee on Accreditation of Educational Programs for Emergency Medical Services Professions and was officially awarded accreditation this spring. The Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services is one of the few select fire service-based advanced life support educational programs in the nation that has achieved accreditation. It should be noted that our EMS training instructors continue to far exceed state testing levels by having a 100% National Registry test passing rate for each EMT and paramedic student who have successfully completed their Frederick County coursework. Even with the 4 recruit classes and the paramedic class, the training center staff was able to maintain their normal workload of recertification and in-service training, as well as offer new training opportunities to the career and volunteer members of our service. The work done by the staff at the division's training office far exceeds expectation, and the end product of training that they provide to the responders of our service goes the distance in ensuring the safety of the citizens of Frederick County. It is my distinct pleasure, as I join with Chief Owens, Chief Leatherman, and Chief Fox, in recognizing the following members of the Frederick County Training Office with this well-deserved unit citation. Battalion Chief Dan Healy. Dan, please step forward. Captain Lenny Stolberg. Lieutenant Sean Donovan. Lieutenant Robert McKay. Lieutenant Michael Steele. And Instructor Lou Rader. Fire Medic 3, Adam Miller. Each of the members recognized receives a certificate, a pin for their Class A uniform, and Chief Owens has just presented Chief Healy with a framed certificate with a narrative to be displayed at the Training Academy. Please join me in thanking the recognized individuals.
All right, for our honored guests and staff members on stage, please move to your seats off stage so that you may view a video produced by RC23 highlighting some of their time at the Academy.
I'll be the last one standing, 2 hands in the air, I'm a champion. You'll be looking up at me when it's over. I live for the battle, I'm a soldier. Yeah, I'm a fighter like Rocky. Put your flag on your back like Ali. Yeah, I'm the greatest, I'm stronger. Bet my dues, can't lose, I'm my own, yeah. Hey, I've been working my whole life, and now it's do or die. I am invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You don't know my name, you can't hurt me now. I can't feel the pain. I was made for this, yeah, I was born to win. I am the champion. When they write my story, they're gonna say that I did it for the glory. But don't think that I did it for the fame, yeah. I did it for the love of the game, yeah. And this is my chance I'm taking. All them old records I'm breaking. All you people watching on the TV, you go ahead and put your bets on me. Hey, I've been waiting my whole life to see my name in lights. I am invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You don't know my name, you can't hurt me now. I can't feel the pain. I was made for this, yeah, I was born to win. I am the champion.
Born champion. The C is for the courage I possess through the drama. H is for the hurt, but it's all for the honor. A is for my attitude, working through the patience. Money comes and goes, so the M is for motivation. Gotta stay consistent, the P is to persevere. The I is for integrity, innovative career. The O is optimistic, open and never shut. And the N is necessary, cause I'm never giving up. See, they ask me how I did it, I just did it from the heart. Crushing the competition, been doing it from the start.
Come to up, hear the patriots shout. Times are changing. In the end, the choice was clear. Take a shot in the face of fear. Fist up in the firing line. Times are changing. I see a dying star. White lies, it's a man on fire.
Pipes are still piping.
It's been a long, bumpy ride sitting back in the saddle. It's time to get down, dirty up our knees into battle. Oh, come on, round up the boys, gonna make the walls rattle. Oh, our flag is tattered and our bones are shattered, but it doesn't matter 'cause we're moving forward. Round 'em up, let's go. Round 'em up, let's go. We've been shot up, beat up by the falling of the arrows. Yeah, full of deep cuts. In the name of love. Come on, fly me The only way I'm leaving is dead. That's the state of my state of my state of my head. They don't know where we've been. We got that concrete street skin. The only way I'm leaving is dead. That's the state of my state of my state of my head. That's the state of my state of my state of my head. That's the state of my state of my state of my head. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I'm coming back for more. Do you feel me now? Do you feel me now? I'm breaking down your door. I'm not speaking under my breath, 'cause the harder you push, the rougher I'll get. 'Cause I'm not shaking when the earth starts quaking. Got my own foundation with no hesitation, and the all miles are seeing red. Double vision from the blood we've shed. The only way I'm leaving is dead. That's the state of my state of my state of my head. They don't know where we've been. We got that concrete street skin. The only way I'm leaving is dead. I brave enough? Am I strong enough to follow the desire that burns from within? To push away my fear, to stand where I'm afraid. I am through with this, 'cause I am more than this. I promise to myself, alone and no one else. My flame is rising higher. I am the fire. I am burning brighter, roaring like a storm. And I am the one I've been waiting for, screaming like a siren, alive and burning brighter. I am the fire. I've been sacrificed, my heart's been cauterized, hanging on to hope, shackled by the ghost of what I once believed that I could never be. What's right in front of me? I am the fire. I am burning brighter, roaring like a storm. And I am the one I've been waiting for, screaming like a siren, alive and burning brighter. I am the fire. I don't believe I'll go from grace. Won't let the past decide my fate. Leave forgiveness in my way. Oh, take the love that I've embraced. I promise to myself, me and no one else.
Think about the love inside, the strength of heart. Think about the hero saving life in the dark. Climbing higher through the fire, time was running out. Never knowing you weren't going to be coming down alive. But you still came back for me. You were strong and you believed. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Be strong, believe. Be strong, believe. Think about the chance I never had to say thank you for giving up your life that day. Never fearing, only hearing voices calling out. Let it all go, the life that you know, just to bring them down alive. And you still came back for another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson. lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
And now if Chief Owens will come forward for the closing remarks.
Let me begin by extending my thanks to Council President Bud Otis for his comments and the congratulatory message that he passed to Class 23. President Otis is a strong supporter of our fire rescue services, and we very much appreciate him joining us this evening. My thanks also to our stalwart clerk of the court, Sandra Dalton. We just couldn't have a graduation without you, Sandy. You always do a great job for us, and we very much appreciate you being here tonight. And thanks to all of our guests, particularly the family members who are here tonight to celebrate the accomplishments of our recruits. Let me thank Chief Lohr for taking his time on a Friday evening to be with us, Steve, to share your comments of encouragement for our class. They are certainly greatly appreciated. Chief Lohr gave an interesting quote from former New York City Fire Chief Edward Croker as a part of his comments. And in doing so, it certainly reminded me of many of the deep roots of tradition that this service embodies, and we all work to carry on today. Chief Croker said this is a noble profession, and it certainly is. And so to Class 23, let me add my congratulations to you on your successful completion of recruit training for, as Chief Croker put it, tonight you join the ranks of a noble profession, and if you do it right, you will develop an infectious passion for the work that firefighters do. The message I share with you tonight is intended to help guide your transition from recruit training to operational service. Recruit training provides the foundation for field operations, training that is about to begin. And you will find your field training just as challenging as your recruit academy. And you will find that our expectations of your performance are equally high. The effort needed to complete your probation will match what was required during your recruit training. So graduation is not a time to relax, because as you will soon learn, the work has just begun. Drawing from my fire service experience, I'll share several keys for successful transition from the academy to your station assignment. First, you must earn your place in the organization by demonstrating that you add value to your team. And you do this in several ways. Begin by displaying a strong work ethic. Will you be the recruit that's in early has that first pot of coffee started, and hopefully has your apparatus and operational equipment checks underway as the rest of your crew begins to report for duty? Or will you be that recruit that prior to lineup is coming in the parking lot on 2 wheels, just barely making it for your assigned duty? I hope it will certainly be the former, because to earn your place in the organization, that is what the organization will expect. You need to show personal initiative. Do you look for what needs to be done, or do you wait for somebody to tell you? Demonstrate your willingness to listen and learn always. Draw on the experience of the veteran members of your crew. Be open to accepting constructive criticism, because feedback from your assigned mentor and your station officer will be critical to your success. It's important that you maintain a sense of humor. Humor in the fire service is a survival tool, folks. So as I tell all of our classes, if you don't have a sense of humor, you need to find one. Recognize the need to adapt your academy training to field operations. Training in a controlled environment versus working in the street is 2 completely different things. What you've done is operate and learn your knowledge and skills in crafted scenarios, in protected environments. And there's a vast difference in performing those same skills at 2 o'clock in the morning in the pouring rain while you're operating knee-deep in a muddy ditch by handlight. Your expectation of performance, though, will not change. There will be times when you are expected to follow and times when you are expected to lead. We expect you to be able to demonstrate the ability to do both. See your crew as a resource. If you're struggling, say something. They all want you to succeed, and your crew members have all been where you are today. On your first day of recruit training, I shared a number of expectations that this organization has of you, and it's important that I remind you of a few as you move into your field assignments. So let me again share some of your key obligations. First, and as Chief Lohr noted, you're being placed in a position of public trust. The public's trust is critical to the success of our mission. This is a trust you must earn and maintain, a trust you must never compromise, and a trust to which you will be held accountable. Firefighters are role models in our community. Our citizens, our county government, and this department expect you to always conduct yourself in a manner that displays honesty and integrity, both on duty and off. The things you say and do matter, and your voice and actions will always be connected to your fire rescue and Frederick County government affiliation. Your safety, fitness, health, appearance, and behavior are your personal responsibilities. You have a duty to take care of yourself so you can effectively take care of our citizens. Frederick County is a combination volunteer and career fire and rescue service. You are expected to work with and alongside our volunteer partners, and in a manner that is cooperative, supportive, and encouraging of our combination system. I told you to be professional in this job, and being professional has nothing to do with receiving a paycheck. Professionalism is a matter of self-discipline that is measured by your personal preparation, dedication, commitment, attitude, and conduct. You will engage our citizens when they are having a very bad day, in some cases their very worst day. Your duty is to provide aid and comfort and do everything within your ability to serve our citizens and to always be nice while providing that service. You will provide service to citizens who live at every point along the social, economic scale, from those who are very fortunate and well off to those who are less fortunate, living in poverty and the homeless. No matter what the human condition is you encounter, our expectation of you is clear. That regardless of the circumstances, you will care for every citizen as you would care for a member of your family. Finally, never forget that the business we operate is a monopoly. When a citizen in Frederick County calls 911, they don't get choices. They get the firefighters and EMTs that Frederick County sends them. And starting tomorrow, they get you. Your obligation is to always maintain a state of full operational readiness and be at your very best every time you answer the call. I would be remiss if I did not also extend my thanks to the families of our recruits. As I told many of you during our initial family orientation, your support has been a critical component of your loved ones' success during their recruit training. We understand the success of the recruit firefighter truly represents the success of the family. So recruits, please join me in thanking your family members for their support. Our families should also understand that the need for your support of your firefighter will continue throughout their career. Last Friday night during night operations, in between evolutions, I spoke to the families that attended about your firefighter being exposed to critical incidents and can be emotionally disturbing during the course of their career. Much like our military veterans, regular exposure to traumatic events can be emotionally and psychologically harmful, and the effects can be cumulative over the course of a firefighter's career. The family will often be the first to recognize signs that your firefighter may be suffering from exposure to traumatic events that they encounter on the job. I spoke about many of the signs and changes in behavior that you need to look for. And if you need a full accounting for some of the symptoms of PTSD among firefighters, just Google it, and you will find volumes of the latest research that might help you look for changes in behavior in your loved one that might give you an indication you have a firefighter in trouble. If you suspect your firefighter is in trouble, work hard to get your firefighter talking about it. And if you're concerned and your firefighter is not talking to you about what they are feeling, what they are experiencing, if your firefighter is not reaching out for help, you need to let us know so that we can reach out to your firefighter. Now, if you reach out to us like any good firefighter, your loved one's going to think you're getting them in trouble. Let me assure you, and recruits, let me assure you, they are not. What your loved ones are doing is getting you help. And the key to success of getting help is early recognition and early intervention, and many resources that we have and continue to develop that are at your disposal to help you through what might be a rough spot. In closing, let me recognize our training staff, and certainly it was a special moment with their unit citation, but personally let me thank Battalion Chief Dan Healy, Captain Lenny Stolberg, Captain Kathleen Harn, Lieutenant Chris Demopoulos, Administrative Assistant Cheryl Riley, our many peer fitness trainers, all of the instructors, for managing an outstanding recruit training program. This training academy was well planned and well executed. Lieutenant Donovan, if you would please rise. Let me offer special commendation to our recruit class coordinator for Class 23, Lieutenant Sean Donovan. Lieutenant Donovan is rotating out of the training academy and back to a fire station assignment with the graduation of this class. While assigned to the training academy, Lieutenant Donovan has been directly responsible for the day-to-day management of recruit Class 23. Under his leadership His class achieved high academic and skill evaluation scores on both department level and state certification examinations. It's a significant accomplishment by his recruits. But if you talk to his recruits, they will tell you their performance is a direct result of the level of dedication, commitment, professionalism, and self-discipline Lieutenant Donovan instilled in them during their recruit training. It is also noteworthy that on March 22nd, in the middle of this training academy class, Lieutenant Donovan and his wife Holly became proud parents of their daughter. So he has clearly been a busy man managing new recruits both at work and at home. Class 23, would you please join me in extending our thanks and commendation to Lieutenant Donovan for his outstanding leadership and performance in managing Class 23. Let me also commend our EMT instructors, Fire Medic Margaret Nowicks, Fire Medic Adam Miller, for the extra effort they made preparing our recruits for their National Registry EMT examination. It is one of the toughest and most academically challenging exams that a firefighter can take at the basic EMT level. And their dedication to this recruit class and everyone ahead has resulted in a 100% pass rate on this very arduous national certification examination. Captain Stolberg, would you please bring Recruit Class 23 to attention for orders? Recruit Class 23, in accordance with General Order 18-010, your assignment to the Fire Rescue Training Academy is complete. You are hereby graduated from recruit training, promoted to Firefighter 1, and transferred to your respective fire station assignments. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Frederick County's newest firefighters.
Please remain standing. Gotcha. Once again, I'd like to invite Reverend Kevin Farmer for the benediction.
There have been many highlights in our celebration tonight. The reception of your certificates, the general order that we just heard that invested you into the fire service. But perhaps the most significant moment tonight was the pinning of your badge by someone very special to you that you selected. It will be an outward sign for the rest of your career of your authority, of your call to service, and of your loyalty. All of these symbols enter you into a worldwide fraternity tonight. You will be surprised, I think, as you travel around the country and around the world, if you identify yourselves as a fellow firefighter, how you will be treated and how you will be cared for. But I'd ask you to remember tonight, as we ask for God's blessings upon you, that it's not about the badge that you wear, but where you wear it, where it was pinned on your uniform, because it was intentional. As it rests on the left side of your body under the lapel, it is to rest always over your heart. It's a reminder of the words of the county executive tonight of the human part of this job and humanity that you serve. And so we ask God to bless you tonight, that you might always respond from that love, that heart that rests underneath the important symbol of your badge. And so we pray. Be with us, Lord, as we prepare to journey home. Help each of us to sleep this night a little more securely, knowing that you have added these servants to your army of angels. May you watch over and guide them always. Help them to be lifelong learners, knowing that their training is never truly complete. Through the intercession of St. Florian and your most merciful love, may they be kept safe in your loving arms. May their hands, their hearts, and their empathetic smiles always be extensions of your love and healing mercy. May they have careers filled with victories because of their unity. And we ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Remember, Ubi Concordia, Ibi Victoria. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for attending this event and supporting our organization. This concludes our ceremonies. Good night.